Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.
Hello, welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. I'm Scott, joined once again by our resident luchador, Rob. How you doing, Rob?
I'm good. I mean, I'm just getting... Have you just seen the group chat, what Dan's just put in it? Do you want me to read
it? No. Is it safe to go on air?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, go on.
I'm not Lucas. He said, Observer reports say that Cody Rhodes has got a torn pec, which he suffered while weightlifting. The belief is that he'll work tonight's match against Seth Rollins with the injury. At last night's WWE live event, Cody was replaced by Drew McIntyre in a match against Rollins.
Wow. Okay, so breaking news straight off the bat. Oh, my goodness. Who was at the Observer?
Yeah.
Flipping heck. Okay, right. So firstly, I don't think he should work. That sounds a little dangerous to me. And number two, I'm not being funny, but we're probably not going to get the match we were going to get. And I don't know. I was just going to say I'm not that thrilled or excited by this show looking at the card. But then I look over in the corner at some of the graphics that we can stick up now. And we do have some pretty tasty looking matches, you know? So... yes, this one, hey, I guess they're thinking, let's just make it go ahead. That's better than nothing. But, wow, that's a spanner in the works already. So, okay. And again, it's a cell match. It ain't an easy kind of coasting kind of match, is it?
No, but at the same time, I think if that's legit and he has got a torn pec, then I guess it works in his favor. Okay, granted, he's going to be thrown into the cell side and all that sort of stuff. But the matches, when you're in a cell, you can slow them down easier because you can be more outside the ring. Weapons can be involved from previous ones that we've seen. So I guess it could work in their favor if done the right way. I mean,
it could work in their favor in the sense that if they tell us it, if the commentators say, "Look at this," you know. Valiant kind of, heroic effort from Cody Rhodes, who's coming into this match injured. That would tell the audience, that's going on. B, I guess at the same time, though, in wrestling terms, when it happens, the heel focuses on it, and it'd have to be the opposite. So, we always say, when people come back from injuries, especially people like, Daniel Bryan and Edge and, having those kind of... anytime a neck or a head gets touched a bit too much, you cringe. So, yeah, they'd have to be very careful with it. But maybe it could work in their favor in the sense that they are building up this Cody Rhodes superhero-type character. What a good guy, fights for everything sort of thing. So it could work in their favor like that. But I do think it is a very risky move. I guess the closest thing I can kind of, compare it to is in football when a manager plays a player who is the best player in the team because they are the best player in the team, but they are definitely kind of overworked and there's a risk they're going to get injured. And if they do, they're going to miss the bigger game next week and all that kind of stuff, So it feels like one of those situations where maybe it's better to just not risk Cody because A, it could get worse and B, it might be a bit of a cluster anyway, depending on how bad it is. I mean, I've never torn a pec, but it's probably not... very comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't torn my pecs, but but they're resting. But yeah, no, I can't imagine this now. I mean, I've pulled muscles and I've torn a muscle, and that's excruciating. So, and you don't want to move. So, I mean, all props and kudos to Cody if he does work the match. I mean,
yeah. It's going to be interesting. I mean, we've got to predict it anyway, so we'll get there in a bit. So, where do we start? Should we just start with some of our predictions? So, me and you, obviously, we couldn't make the predictions and preview show. Thanks to Dan and Lucas for taking the reins on that one. And yeah, a good show. I've watched it, and they did very well. And yeah, it's now our turn to do the predictions as well. So we're going to be predicting all these matches. To be fair, though, I don't think one of the matches was announced. I'm going to have to get the predictions from the guys for that as well. Yeah, so let's start out with just getting on with some No, actually, before we do, what do you think about this show? Are you looking forward to the show?
Yes and no, because it's funny because I have a big issue with gimmicked pay-per-views or PLEs now. From a specific match. So look, Royal Rumble, yes, it is glorified battle royal, but it's always been there. Then we had things like Hell in a Cell, which was like, if they go to Hell in a Cell, like, oh, like this is the final meet. This is the end of the feud. Now we get it as a pay-per-view, and I get the same with that. Money in the Bank, TLC. Yeah. Like I just don't enjoy them because I don't enjoy them because they're like gimmicked pay-per-views where I would rather have that and, you know, bring back Rebellion or Insurrection or No Way Out. Do you know what I mean? Just doesn't matter of the name.
They brought back Judgment Day, but it's a stable.
Yeah, do you know what? Judgment Day. I was watching it with my son the other day. Judgment Day 2000, incredible.
And Armageddon. The one with Undertaker's Return. Yeah. Judgment Day.
I think so. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, with Rock and Triple H and the Iron Man. American Badass.
So good.
Yeah, man, great show. Great show.
What an era. But, yeah, so like he's just got into wrestling, so I'm trying to
show him the good stuff.
Yeah. I love Ricochet. Yeah, which I can't complain. Being a fellow Luther.
Yeah, of course. Let's just start with this. Quickly going back to this event, though, we've got a quick comment here from You Know the Deal. Don't WWE doctors have to clear Ninja Wrestler from performing or not? Seems risky to have Cody give it a go tonight. Thank you very much, You Know the Deal, for coming back. Recognize your name again, so thank you for coming back and joining us again for this build-up show. And anyone else watching along, give us a little comment or two throughout the show. But once again, thanks very much for that. And yeah, completely agree. As I was already saying, like, I feel it is risky, but good point you raised there about the doctors. Yeah, maybe they do. I mean, to what degree do the doctors step in?
I think
is it more concussion based? Because I mean, wrestlers work hurt all the time, so I can't imagine it being like a general fitness test every time you show up to an event. You know, like a kind of mobility kind of. Because there's, 90% of the roster are probably going to be like, I actually can't move my arm this way, and I actually, and they cover it up. So during the matches, so. I don't know what their kind of things are in place for these things, but I would imagine it's more on the side of concussions and, whether or not someone's under the influence or kind of, their heart or something like that. Maybe they have heart tests. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, it is risky though, whether or not WWE's doctors do kind of have those procedures in place for a regular kind of event every single time. I don't know, but either way, I would say I agree there completely.
Fully.
A risk that maybe, shouldn't be taken, as we've kind of already touched on.
Do you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember back a couple of years ago, maybe 2012 or something, Cena tore his bicep and it rolled down to his elbow?
Oh, yeah.
His tricep and rolled down to his elbow, and he still worked the match with that.
Yeah.
That's kind of going to be the kind of thing with Cody, I reckon. Not in that way, but I reckon you'll be able to tell that there's an injury there if he does wrestle. Obviously, if it's a pec, it's going to be dropped because it's not further up. So whatever one it is, one of them will be lower.
Would it have bruising as well? I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, when I tore a muscle in my leg, and I was off for like 6-7 months, something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
And he's working a cell match.
It makes me feel like a rat pansy.
Oh man!
I could tear a muscle getting out of bed now. It's that old age, isn't it?
Oh mate, I'm feeling it as well. I've had a very heavy weekend, so I am rough. But going back to the show though, what you're saying, like the gimmick stuff.
I'm unsure. As I was kind of like, with gimmicks pay-per-views, they can either be great or they can not. And
they either really kind of execute it well, or they just don't live up to the hype of the pay-per-views or PLE's gimmick. It'll be like, didn't feel like a great sell match, or it'll be like, wow, this is why we have cell matches. You know, like it's one or the other.
Yeah, exactly that. And I mean, there's been some phenomenal cell matches in from in the past that we've seen over the last 20 odd years. And I don't know, Cody and Seth could really steal it depending on how this match is now going to go.
Well, that's what I thought. This is the match I was mainly looking forward to because A, it's a cell match, and B, those guys are great. And as much as we're going to get into it, this is Rematch of Mania Part 2. We need to just wrap it up. I think they are. It's intriguing to see what these two can do in the cell together. But yeah, like I'm kind of same as you. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it yet. And I mentioned at the beginning, this card, is it very strong? But in some ways it is. I think it's just that weird rematch sense. But yeah, all right, let's get into some of the predictions for that. Rob, could you quickly write in the chat to Dan and Lucas and ask them what their predictions are for the Madcap Moss versus Corbin one, and we'll get onto that later on through the show as well. But before we get there, let's get on with let's start with Ezekiel versus Kevin Owens. Now, is it Ezekiel? Is it Elias? Who knows? Strange little gimmick that's been going on here. I mean, I've got to be honest, and I say this nearly every month now. I ain't really been watching lately, so I don't fully know what's been going on. So only a few kind of things that have kind of filtered through to my timeline and stuff like that is the only way I kind of have a rough idea what's going on there. But yeah, I understand the whole gimmick, I think, of Ezekiel. Now, because of that, I do feel like... Actually, I don't know who's going first. I've clearly gone first, so here we go.
Go on, go. I'll go, and then the next one I'll go, then you go. So we'll double up each.
So I'll go first. Now you'll go first the next one, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so I say Ezekiel's going to win just because it's a new character. It'd be weird. This is one of the few feuds that aren't, 3 matches deep. So... and a build up on the way to Mania, as the one we'll talk about next is. So this one kind of, it's only just beginning. So it seemed a bit, I know he's not exactly technically a new wrestler. I know they're jokingly portraying him like he is. But because of that, well, come on. Because of that, I think Ezekiel's got a win. Unless there's some shenanigans. Now, I did hear people kind of speculating that Sami Zayn could come into play here and join back up with Kevin Owens and whatever else, but and that's a way to make Ezekiel lose, but I'm not 100% sold on that just yet. So I think I'm just gonna commit and say Ezekiel is gonna win this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. To be fair, I'm not sure if I like this idea of this character of Ezekiel. Granted, I prefer him as Elias. But do you know what? I think no matter what, with Kevin Owens, no matter what situation you put him in, give him a microphone and let him have a little bit of comedy, and man, does he turn it to gold. Like, it's incredible. Like the stuff with Austin at Mania, now this stuff straight onto the Ezekiel, it's so damn good. Like, you can't knock him. The work rate he's been putting in matches, promos,
fantastic performer.
Yeah, it's so good. So like, props to Owens for being put in that position, because some people wouldn't like that. I mean, going back to a few years ago, Jericho versus Fandango, Jericho was moaning that he had to go against Fandango and put him over. And you're thinking, Owens is now going against someone who was supposed to be Elias, now is pretending to be his twin brother. And you think, how ridiculous. But he's making it work, and I'm invested.
And he makes it, again, I haven't seen much, but the few things I have seen, he makes it not believable, but like he really sells the kind of frustration.
He makes you want to believe that.
Yeah, like everyone's in on a joke except for him is the way he sees it, sort of thing, I think he's been selling it fantastic. Like you say, it's not doesn't sound like the most glamorous of feuds, I think, if you pitch someone it, but and you could look at this and go, oh, bloody hell, like WWE kind of creative, what are they doing? But like, let's be real, if it's entertaining, it's entertaining. So on paper, this might not sound like the most exciting thing, but I haven't heard that much complaints over it, to be fair. I've heard people be quite complimentary, and that probably is because of Owens. And we can't forget Ezekiel, Elias, whatever you want to call him. You know, his deadpan reaction, just acting like, what are you talking about? And completely different in character as well, being this humble kind of, you know, oh, I'm a big brother and all this stuff. Like, I've really enjoyed, again, what little bits I've seen, I've quite enjoyed it, which I'm surprised I'm actually saying. But yeah, Ezekiel for both of us then?
100%. Just speaking of what you said about Sami Zayn, I know you haven't been watching.
Yeah.
As much as I'd love to see Sami involved, because Sami and Owens together are, you know, that it's phenomenal for me. I absolutely love them together. But Sami Zayn is like an honorary member of the Bloodline. Have you not seen?
I know, yeah. Which I've
so
not
good, man.
seen any of
so
that.
Good.
I've just heard about it, but I really need to. I mean, clearly, I need to be watching these shows a little bit.
It's so
more.
good.
But yeah, I've been a bit busy. But yeah, okay, I'll definitely have to look into some of that. And strangely, you know, they're not on this show. But yeah, that's another conversation for another day, I guess. But anyway, let's move on to the next. No, actually, before we do, let me explain what other people have said. So Dan has also gone with Ezekiel, and Lucas has gone for Kevin Owens. So it's going to be, it's going to be interesting. There's going to be differences in the points here either way, which is always a good thing to see. Moving on to the next match, Robbie, you have suggested you'll go first here, so I'm going to let you do so. And we've got Bobby Lashley versus Omos and MVP. And I've got to say, very happy to see MVP in another match. I'm kind of wondering what it's going to be. What kind of, is he going to act like a match, like a wrestler? Or is he going to act more like the cowardly manager that you usually get as a heel with, you know, as if they were never a wrestler, or they used to be a wrestler 25 years ago. If it was like, say, I don't know, Arn Anderson or you know, Jerry Lawler or someone like that. But, you know, realistically, MVP had, you know, some kind of regular kind of matches about 2 years ago when he came back. So, yeah, it's been a little bit of while since that. But yeah, anyway, go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, man. Speaking of MVP, I was looking at his Insta the other day. It come up on my feed, and you know, I think it was 15 years since he won the United States Championship this week or the week. Yeah, this madness.
Against, was it Matt Hardy? Or you had the feud?
It was the Matt Hardy feud. Yeah, that Matt Hardy feud and all that. It feels so. It doesn't seem that long ago, but it's so crazy when you think it's 15 years.
But then you think about it, he wasn't around that long. You know?
No, not really. He went to TNA for a bit after.
Yeah, like I always really enjoyed MVP, and that, you know, we've on this channel and on the main Rebellious Noise channel before we split off into having an independent wrestling one. You know, we've praised MVP for the last few years. He's worked with Hurt Business and stuff like that. So yeah. But anyway, go on. What are you going with?
Look, I think if this is their third match, so basically their rubber match, right? It's one apiece now to Lashley and Omos, and I just think the only way to really get it over a little bit more, Omos over, that is for Omos to now win. But what I think will happen is maybe Omos will do all the destructive stuff, MVP will do the distraction, and then when it comes to the match finally finishing, MVP will do the pinfall.
Oh, like a cocky kind of, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that seems like it could go down that. But then at the same time, I was like, I was so certain when I see it. I was like, this is what's going to happen. And now I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, well, if Lashley beats both, what a feat that is for him, and that makes him look good. And I'm like, all right, now what do I do? So I had a decision, and now I'm not sure.
You've worked yourself into a shoot, brother.
Oh man, I'm gonna go MVP and Omos.
MVP and Omos. Okay, well, you raised a really good point now, because as soon as you said, an MVP gets the pin, I could just see him cockily getting down to his knees, smiling, and giving a little lateral press type pin, you know, like. But I think I'm going to go the other way, because although it is a rubber match, and we were mentioning on the last two predictions and build-ups and reviews and all that stuff for the previous matches in this feud, that Omos kind of needs to win to look like a badass, you know. Losing to Lashley, as we said as well, isn't a bad thing. You know, he's incredible. A recent WWE champion and all that. So it's not that bad to lose to Lashley, but it did feel like Omos needed to at least win one of them. Now, I feel like because he's the new one, maybe he should win the feud as well. But I think MVP's in this match, and I heard Lucas say this on the predictions, basically to take the pin, because I think it will kind of keep Omos looking strong. Lashley overcomes two of them. The only risk with it is that looks like something that would break the two of them up. And they've only just got together. So, you know, like Omos being annoyed at MVP. So that's, I don't know how you'd play that off, but I don't know, just something kind of deep in me is saying Lashley's going to win because that's why there's two people in this match to keep Omos from looking bad, basically.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Let's go with what the other guys said. So Dan and Lucas actually both went for Lashley as well.
Man.
So you are the only one here going for the big man Omos. Okay. Right, let's move on to the next match. We've got Theory versus Mustafa Ali. Again, I'd love to say I've seen a lot of this stuff. I haven't. I got the general gist of it, though. Ali's come back as a babyface, and they've kind of switched things up with him. Glad to see him back. If he's happy, I'm happy. You know, he's a great performer. Hope it all kind of works out. And I do think this could be a very good match between the two of them. Now, being for the US title, it kind of makes sense for Mustafa Ali to win it. You know, this is his kind of reward maybe for sticking with him and all that good stuff. Dan was also saying this is in Chicago and that's where he's from as well. So you either go down the route of how sometimes they bury the hometown person and sometimes they actually put them over. So it can go either way with that. But I do feel like taking the belt off Theory is where the problem comes in with this. So although I do think Mustafa Ali getting it kind of somehow makes sense, it also feels like it doesn't make sense that it's Theory losing the title. I wouldn't say already because he's had it for a few months. But if he loses it, what does he do next? You know, and where this main event picture is still so confusing about the titles and the brand split and all this kind of stuff, they're kind of coasting as much as they can on Raw with the main event being Seth and Cody, not for a title. But even with that, it feels like they've they've been dragging that out for 3 months because, again, they can't put Cody where they want to put him, which is at the top for the title. And they've kind of had to build a main event without a title. So it's not like Theory could go straight into like bigger and better as far as, you know, the top kind of tier. So taking it off him, I feel like it might be a bit of a risk, is what I'm thinking. So, and they seem to be very high on him. So for that reason, Theory's keeping the title, I think.
Yeah. I really don't know because, like, so Theory won the title off Bálor, right? If I remember rightly.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So he done that. So he beat Finn Balor for it, but nothing's happened with the title. Like I get that it takes time and stuff like that, but you'd think with him having the Vince McMahon stuff happening and all that sort of stuff, that would be a perfect way to really elevate him and make prestige the title again and put some respect on it. And you know, it's not a secondary title and all that. That's the main title because Theory's the main guy and he's Vince McMahon's. And it's done nothing. It's done absolutely nothing. And that's not a stab at Theory for, you know, his work rate in the ring is fantastic. You know, he's a great performer, but he's done nothing with a title. If anything, he's kind of like a, not that I want to mix brands and shows, but he's kind of like a B-Tech version of Sammy Guevara with the TNT.
I thought you'd say Sammy Guevara. Yeah, it kind of got me thinking the same as well when you were kind of talking about that.
You know, I mean, Sammy's made the title important, and we've got Theory on another brand, a whole new brand and show completely. Same sort of gimmick, doing nothing with it. You know, and you think, well, they could do the same stuff, if you know what I mean. Like, it could be booked the same way, and WWE is a bigger show, and they've got much more TV, so they could do that, and they could really elevate it, and I don't think they have.
This is always the thing with these secondary titles, isn't it? They never kind of put as much stock in them as they should.
Yeah. So I reckon Theory will still be the champion, but I think Ali is going to win the match. So I don't know how you want to put that.
Well, so you're going to do it as like a DQ? But that's a bonus point, basically. In order to do that.
I don't know, man. But Ali's going to win the match, but I don't think he's going to be the champion. So I just think Ali will be the winner of the match.
So
does that have to go to a
I think you got a bonus point because you basically got to say someone gets DQ'd.
All right, so I'll bonus point it because otherwise I don't want to say.
But you could just say Ali wins. Yeah, and even if he doesn't get the title, it's about he won though.
All right, because I didn't want to say it in one way, and it was.
But then it would also involve a DQ, so you kind of have to do that bonus point it if you really think that.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think it's going to be a DQ. I just think something's going to happen. So I'll say Ali's winning the match.
Okay, all right, Ali's going to win. All right,
yeah. But do you know what I mean? I feel like something's going to happen.
Okay, cool. All right, so I've gone for Theory. Dan and Lucas also went for Theory, and this time again, Rob, you've gone different. And you are going with Mustafa Ali, but we're not quite sure how it's going to go down. Quickly get to another comment here from Elite Clips. Going into the building now, time for Hell in a Cell. Thank you very much, Elite Clips, for coming and joining us, especially on the way to the actual show. That's fantastic that you're there as well. Give us a little comment. A foam finger. Yeah, let us know what it's like in the building. What's the buzz like? How are people feeling? What do you think people are looking forward to? If you hear any kind of conversations in the line for the toilet or the merch stand, then kind of let us know what's going on in the building. Fantastic to have someone join us that's actually at the show.
You can get some crazy stuff going on. Was it you? It was you, wasn't it? When you was in line for the merch stand. No, you was in line to get a beer or something, and then
yeah, it's on the intro. It's on our intro of this channel. Like if you want to watch it on the trailer for the channel, but also at the beginning of this video, you would have seen it as well. Braun Strowman and Corbin Sami Zayn. Braun Strowman and Sami Zayn were having a little battle out in there. Yeah, they set up a fake merch stand so that he could get thrown through the table. So
did you tell it was good, though?
Yeah. I saw him setting it up. So it was like, what's that doing over there? So I was getting ready. It was a bit of a buzz. And then everybody started with security's coming everywhere. And I was like, and it was basically a no holds barred match all around the arena. This was on Raw or SmackDown. I think it was SmackDown. Check it out a few years ago. If you remember, basically, if you watch the show, you can see me in the background. And obviously, and I'll find it. So it was good. But fantastic. I love when they do so. It was probably like the Attitude Era, so that's what that reminded me of here. And I know this is an AEW show, but obviously we didn't get to do AEW review this time. Sorry guys, we couldn't actually make it work with our schedules, but hopefully we'll be doing more AEW stuff in the future. But I just quickly wanted to point out that match, the Anarchy in the Arena, whatever it's called, that felt like the hardcore division back in the day. I absolutely loved it. It felt like I was, 12 years old again, watching Crash Holly trying to escape the APA or something, like it was fantastic. But anyway, going back to WWE, because obviously that's why we're here tonight, talking all things Hell in a Cell. Next up, we've got me going first in the predictions for the Raw Women's Championship. Now, again, look at this card. When you see matches like this, you think, hold on, this could be special. Why it's not in a cell, I do not know. Usually you get a second cell match. I thought this one or the 3-on-3 match could be in the cell, but hey, neither of them seem to be in the cell. I don't really know where to go with this, but I think I'm leaning towards what I want. And what I want is for Bianca Belair to stay the champion, to be able to beat Asuka and Becky. And you can say what you want about Asuka. She's not been presented that well over the past few years. Even when she's been champion, I feel like she's been kind of overlooked, strangely enough, which is hard to, and we've said it so many times in reviews over the years with her, that it is strange to say something like that, but I don't think it's her fault. But anyway, she's still Asuka, she's still fantastic, and on paper that sounds great. And I'm sure this is, potential, just like the last one, to be match of the night. I think both of these matches could steal the show. But yeah, this one, looking forward to it. I'm going to go Bianca Belair just because Becky getting it back doesn't make any sense just yet. And Asuka just feels like, I don't know, just thrown in. So, and I've heard people say, it looks like Asuka and Becky is the feud that will continue after this. So, and then maybe we can finally get, which we talk about all the time, and I know Lucas mentioned it on the predictions as well, but a feud that is not for the title. That's what we want. Bianca go off, title feud. These two go off. grudge feud. That's what we want to see in the women's division. And hopefully this is an opportunity to do so. So I really hope they don't mess it up twice by A, taking the belt off Bianca, and B, ruining what could be a grudge feud between two top stars without a title on the line. I think that'd be fantastic possibility there. So yeah, what about yourself, Rob?
Yeah, I'm the same as you, man. The minute I see it, I was like, oh, this needs to be in the Hell. This needs to be a Hell in a Cell. Like this, what a match to go in it, and we don't get that. I was like, all right, shame, but Belair's walking out champion. She has to. Like it doesn't make sense, as you said, for Becky to win it back so quick, and Asuka just coming back, giving her back the championship, to take it off Bianca again. It's just silly booking, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, we've been here before with Becky, where it's like, surely she shouldn't be getting it back so quick. Obviously, when she come back, and if Asuka did it, it'd be the same thing happening again to Bianca, of someone returning and being like, "You kept that warm for me, thanks. I'll take it back now." You know, that's not what I want to see. So, yeah, it looks like we're both in agreement there with Bianca Belair. Going, you want it and you think it will, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's quickly get to what the other guys said. Bianca Belair fought both Lucas and Dan there as well. So we've all gone the same way there. Looks like no points will be changing as far as us kind of separating each other from the pack. If you're not sure what we're talking about, we are talking about, of course, our predictions table. We do it by season, as if it's like football or something like that. Starts at Mania, ends at Mania. It starts to start at Mania, ends at Mania. The first season we did it, I won. Where's my trophy? It's around here somewhere. Here we go, right in front of me. Last season, Rob won. Have you got your trophy there?
It's
proudly displayed. Proudly displayed. And this year, obviously, we've only just started with the pay-per-views this year. So this season, I should say. And it's quite tight at the moment. But yeah, we could definitely see a few changes. Speaking of things I should show off, I've lost Ronnie Storm. I've got his little barrel. I don't know where he is. He's popped out and just got lost.
I was about to say he's probably popped out for something.
Hey.
Yeah, do you know what? Anyway? I think that we already have like something that we win over the time, right?
Yeah.
For a season, kind of like how the Premiership would work.
Yeah.
But do you not think we should do something extra, like an FA Cup style thing for the?
How are we gonna do that?
I don't know, man. Like, listen, I just talk on it. This is your idea. Like my idea, right, well, you make it work.
Okay, I've got an idea. It's really basic, and I'm not gonna help you with it. Go on, make it magic. All right, mate.
There we go.
Talk about polishing a turd. How are we gonna do that? All right. Well, you just want another chance for a trophy. Now you've got one. You're bloody trophy hungry.
I feel like Man City all of a sudden.
Well, you got a rich sugar daddy kind of pumping your predictions or something then. Right, okay. Let's move on to the next match. This time it will be actually, before we do, have we got anything back from the other two about Madcap Moss and Corbin?
Hang on. Yeah, I've got both of them.
Both of them. All right. Well, with that in mind, let's get onto that first. You read out theirs then. Rob, so we got Madcap Moss, we've got Corbin. Again, we're doing this now because this one wasn't actually predicted by the guys, so they've sent theirs through for this one as well, and of course we'll get to add ours in a moment. So yeah, what do we go with for this match for those two guys, mate?
So Lucas has said Madcap.
Okay.
And I'll give the exact wording and the emoji for Dan. Dan said Madcap for me.
You just wanted to flex those muscles, boy. All right, so they've both got Madcap. Let me just get this written down so we don't forget it. I am messing this up completely. Right, Madcap. Rob, it's your turn to go first. Who are you going with?
Oh man, I feel like I'm not fussed about the feud. Like I thought it was done. You know.
Yeah, we keep saying this with these guys, and then they're quite entertaining. We're like, I feel bad every single time. So I'm not even going to do that this time.
I think it's because it's a no holds barred. I'm like, I'm not fussed, but because it's no holds barred, I'm fussed. If you know what I mean. Like I'm not bothered, but I'm bothered. If you know what I mean. Like I have a slight interest. There you go.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But I don't know. I really don't know. I mean,
who won the last one?
Madcap. So my thing was Corbin needs to win this one, but then they'll have another one, and then are we going to be like, oh, well, we're not fussed about this one either.
What about if they only had one then? Did they have say at WrestleMania as well?
Did they have? Hang on, I'll research.
No, were they a team then? I can't remember, man.
Hang on, I'm
not a good side, but yeah. Didn't he get injured, Madcap Moss, at WrestleMania?
Because of Corbin, yeah.
Because of Corbin?
Madcap. So something they were in a match, and then Madcap.
It's great analysis, guys. Everyone that's come here and come back for the show and joined us before, you'll know this can happen from time to time. But if you're brand new, please don't get put off by our lack of kind of research and stuff like that. Sometimes we're on top of things. It's fine. It's just at the moment.
Oh man,
we're tired. We've had a heavy week.
Yes, it's So I know Corbin turned on Madcap because Madcap cost a victory, and then they've been feuding ever since. But I can't remember how many matches. How many pay-per-views?
Yeah, is it 3 the magic number, and this is the one to end it, or like you say, is it going on after this?
I don't know, man. I'm unsure of like which one. I'm gonna go because I want to see him move on to something else. Yeah, but I don't know if that makes sense. I'm going Happy Corbin because I like Corbin. I mean, granted, I'd rather have Lone Wolf End of Days Corbin back, 100%. Absolutely love that guy. But we've moved past that now. But I want to see Corbin move forward, and I want to get him out of this gimmick. So let's have him win this and then change himself up.
Yeah, exactly the same for me. I'm not too fussed about the gimmick change or anything like that, but I do think we said it a few months ago as to why. End of Days got kicked out. That was WrestleMania, wasn't it? So, I think he should win. Because we've said this for quite a lot lately. New star Omos can't lose too much and all that. Even somewhat with Ezekiel here tonight as well. And I think this will be a bit of a theme in a moment with another one of the matches as well. But yeah, I kind of feel like Corbin should probably win this one, and because it's no DQ or no holds barred, whatever it is. Well, he can do something sneaky to win, then, can't he? And it's within the rules, and it's a bit cheeky. If this was the normal match, then maybe you wouldn't have been able to do it. Quick message here from Tom's joined us. Who do you guys think the Undertaker's going to make famous tonight? I feel like Tom hit his head and woke up in 2001.
It's like just me talking about the old pay-per-views.
Yeah,
so perfect person to kind of appear as we're talking about the Lone Wolf Baron Corbin.
Of course,
Tom was a huge fan.
He was a huge fan, yeah.
Tom. Hi, Tom, by the way.
What are you thinking about Tom? About Corbin's other gimmicks?
Oh, I love
Of course, Tom, obviously co-host with me on the Talk of Means podcast. We do a bit of wrestling chat on there as well, mainly film and TV, but
hang on.
Talk a bit of wrestling.
I thought you said reoccurring guest on the podcast.
I know. I kind of feel bad. I should kind of give him his due. It's been over 100 episodes now. I kind of got to be honest and call him a co-host. But no, if you're into your films and stuff like that, check that out as well. But we do some wrestling chat on there as well, and hopefully we'll be doing one quite soon because we didn't get to do one around. What was the last pay-per-view that we should have done it around? This is what I was going to say. WrestleMania? I don't think. No, we didn't because I was in America. So. I did. I committed enough doing a lot of these streams in my hotel room and by the Brooklyn Bridge, if you remember. That was quite fun.
In fairness, though, the way you done the last one of the Summer of Punk, and you kind of just covered loads of it. It was just nicer. Yeah. Because
that's what. Yeah, so that's turned in because what we do here on the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel is more like match per match basis. Of course, when me and Tom used to talk Means, and you've been on quite a few episodes, so you know this. But yeah, we do it match per match. But I think it's what we like about that pod is the silly stuff that we do. As much as we get a bit silly on here as well. On that pod, we get very, very silly. It'll be spending more time doing impressions and talking about attires than it is actually about the kind of psychology of the business and stuff. So if you like that sort of nonsense, come and check us out as well. But stick right here for the kind of... I'm saying the more professional side of things, but I've literally said I've watched nothing for ages, and we couldn't even remember how many times Madcap Boss and Corbin faced each other, or who won.
We're professional.
Anyway, but yeah. So if this is the bar, then my goodness, you can imagine what talking means is like. Right. Anyway, going back to being a little bit more professional, let's go on to the next match. Now, a match I am actually very much looking forward to, just because I'm interested to see how this plays out. I'm worried it's going to be very, 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 very long, as you know, someone's in this match who tends to have very, very long matches. But yeah, looking forward to this one. We have got, of course, Judgment Day, which is the team, of course, of Edge, Rhea Ripley, Damian Priest, nearly called him Damian Sandown. That'd be very different, wouldn't it? Versus, these guys got a name yet? The Fake Bullet Club? I don't know, but yeah, B Clizzle for Lizzle. Right. Anyway, so we've got Liv Morgan, AJ Styles, and Finn Balor. Now, I will say, last month, do you remember on the build-up, one of our followers basically wrote a comment. One of our viewers, I should say, we're not a cult or anything, wrote a comment saying that they thought Finn was going to turn and join.
Could tonight be the night?
Thing. Now, last month when they said that, we were all blown away. Like, what an idea! I think yes, that is definitely what should happen, and I think tonight is a great way to set up. They're definitely teasing more people. First, it seems a bit more refined. Now, Edge is posting about everyone. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a picture of you on his Twitter soon. But
can you blame him?
You're a beautiful man, Rob. So, oi. Any excuse? Do you know he goes to the gym, guys?
A little bit.
But yeah, I think this is a great way to have Finn Balor turn. I do hope it is Finn, because you know, as we kind of talking about then, the whole demon thing would fit this quite well. So I do hope that's what happens. Either way, as Dan said on the predictions, he thinks there will be a new member here either way. I think the shock in it's not in a cell, is it? That's annoying. But the shock in the middle of a match of someone turning on something, you know, like when Balor did the kick to Gargano on NXT.
Yeah.
Man, how cool was that? I mean, he could do the same thing again, to be fair. But yeah, but I do like the idea of having another kind of little group and stable, you know. So I'm not quite, you know, in the 17th version of the unofficial Bullet Club. So, I don't know. Maybe it's a bit too soon for that. But I'm being greedy here, I guess. But yeah, anyway, because of that, I think the first match, the group they're clearly pushing, even if they both stay as groups and one doesn't split up, is Judgment Day. This entire feud is about Judgment Day. It's not about AJ. It's not really about Liv. I'm glad she's got a good little role in this. It makes sense now. The storyline she had with Rhea kind of works out quite well. And it's not about Finn at the moment, unless he turns. It's all about Judgment Day, you know? So, yeah. For me, Judgment Day have got to win this one, and I think they will.
So, the last two pay-per-views...
PLEs, come on, get it right.
Sorry. The last two pay-per-views... Edge has either faced AJ and someone new has walked out. So my thing is, Edge is also facing AJ again, so someone has to walk out again to join Judgment Day. As much as I'd love it to be Finn Balor, I just don't see it happening. But there was a few things floating around that one, Cesaro could be re-signing.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Certainly his coffee.
There you go. Bray Wyatt. Not that I want him to be a part of it. He could be a leader.
Yeah.
But Bray Wyatt has changed his name on Twitter from Wyndham back to Wyatt. And he puts... That's possible.
I find it very strange, though, being let go and coming back. Like, I don't know. I mean, he's definitely hinting that something's coming up soon. I guess the bookie's favorite would be AEW, but you never know. Stranger things have happened in the world of pro wrestling, so he could be showing up. But yeah, although the character kind of fits, you're right. He'd be a leader. He wouldn't be, in the background.
That's what I thought. I was like, he'd be a perfect leader. I don't know. Maybe Cesaro. If he does come back, that'd be great. But I feel like whoever joins next, has to have a specific look, because the way they're kind of, I won't say designed, but the way the gimmick and attire and all that's looking is proper old school Brood ministry So it needs to be someone. So I reckon if it's going to be someone, Ciampa is going to be.
I was just going to say, I think Ciampa could fit that. Obviously, it's got an alternative feel to it, and although Ciampa doesn't exactly wear like the leather and stuff that the two newest members wear, guy liner or anything like that. He's a baldy with a big beard, and a lot of people into metal look like that as well. And his song was kind of a heavy kind of no one was surviving, all that good stuff. So he kind of still fits that theme of, I guess, alternative in some sense. And all you have to do is then kind of, my big fear is that they'll kind of stick that terrible get up that they had on what was his name? What was his name? No, what was his name?
T-Bar.
Karrion Kross. Yeah.
Oh, please don't.
They're gonna make him look like that. If someone hears, oh, he hasn't got any leather, we'll give him some leather. Just leather straps. Right. Anyway, so
I'm going Judgment Day, by the way.
Judgment Day. Okay, we're both going Judgment Day. People, again, in the comments, let us know what you think is going to happen tonight, going forward as well. And especially with little kind of things like this. Do you think someone's joining Judgment Day? Do you think someone's turning from the other team? How do you think it's all going to go down? Let us know in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for joining us and for commenting. We're not done, though. We are still we've got one more match to predict. Any updates from anyone, really? The Observer again, maybe, about this Cody Rhodes situation?
WWE has announced that Cody is injured.
So they have done what I thought they might. Okay. And I do think that's a good idea. So if you've missed this, you're not quite sure what we're talking about, you haven't heard what's happened. This is why these build-up shows are so fun to do, because especially when news like this happens, like remember when WrestleMania nearly was called off because of the rain and stuff like that. It's just so fun that we can kind of get hyped up for the show like this with everyone watching. And we can have these discussions and breaking news and stuff like that. But anyway, the breaking news here is that Cody Rhodes is apparently injured, tore one of his pecs, and it's believed he's still going to wrestle tonight. And we were kind of speculating that maybe Cody shouldn't do that because, why are you going to risk more injury? And this, although, this is the match I think most people are probably looking forward to. That's a cell match. It's not going to be the match they planned, surely, because you're going to have to work around certain things. So I feel like if they're going to do it, the best thing to do is say he's injured, and they can be like, look at the heroic, brave Cody Rhodes, which it sounds like that's what they're doing. So cool, fair enough. Personally, if it's that bad, I think give him the night off. But hey, I'm not making those decisions, and we don't know how bad it actually is. But going to be an interesting match either way. So it looks like it's going ahead. So we will still predict this one. Here we go. Here's the graphic. But actually, before we do, I didn't even say what Dan and Lucas said for this one, did I? So Dan went for Judgment Day as well. And Lucas actually went the other way with AJ, Finn, and Liv Morgan. Right. So getting back to what we think is surely the main NSL match is Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. Right. I think it makes the most sense to have Cody win. He's on the poster. He's being pushed and featured, and we spoke about this in depth already. He's done great since he's come back, and they've done, to be fair to him, a great job of presenting him in this way. So I think that's going to continue, and especially now he's the hero, Cody Rhodes. He's surely got a win, but now I'm kind of talking myself out of it as I say that, because I'm thinking, well, he's won a fair bit already, right? Won the other two.
Yeah.
So do you really need to win a third? Is it safe to make him lose now? Is this a way to get out of jail free cards for him to go? But he was injured, and Seth was a nasty, nasty man in a cell, and he exploited that, again, which is risky to do when someone's actually injured, to kind of fake stomping on his chest and that, But so now I kind of feel like I should be going the other way, but I've already said it. I've gone with Cody Rhodes. What about you, Rob?
So I had before we done it, I was like, Cody's winning. That's it. That was my prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm like, well, Seth could win, and because Cody's injured, Seth could be glorifying the fact that he's put him on the shelf.
Put him on the shelf, yeah.
And then it continues. Cody finally gets his return.
I mean, how long would he really need out? I mean, if you need time out, then should you not have tonight off? Do you know what I mean? You said it took you 6-7 months.
All right, shut up.
I'm joking. I'm sure it'd take me just as long, probably longer. But yeah, if that's the case, he can't be. I know
muscle,
these are
innit?
super athletes, but 6 or 7 months. Like even if it was 3 months, I feel like no, surely not. And you can't like that stuff ain't scripted. Just if your body, breaks down some way, then that's what it is. You got to deal with it. So injuries aren't going to wait for storylines to wrap up, are they? So it's it's cruel because he's just come in and he's on fire. But yeah, if he's going away, then yeah, you could be right. Seth could win it. Why would Cody win just to go away? So it kind of does change the dynamic of things.
Surgery involves sewing your pec tear back into place on your upper arm. 3 to 4 weeks after surgery, you should be able to do passive, active, assisted range of motion. Exercises dependent on surgery. It's most likely to take around 6 weeks for you to do active motion without help. But then that depends on how quick he heals. Yeah. I'm assuming
not messing it up tonight, So
yeah, so there's that, and obviously they have. Is it Birmingham? The doctors in America, they have Birmingham.
Right, yeah, something like that. Yeah,
and I think they have like a recovery thing there. Obviously, they've got different treatments and therapy and what they could do for muscles. I mean, we're way advanced with that sort of stuff now. When I done mine, I was like 15,
right? Yeah,
playing football, and I was
yeah.
But yeah, man, I have no idea. I mean, I do obviously hope that it's a speedy recovery for Kofi.
Kofi
for
wait, what's happened to him?
For Cody. But yeah, man, I really don't know. Like you said, it depends on how battered he gets in a match tonight. I mean,
and we have seen people win stuff even though they knew they were injured and just still, go ahead with the original plan, even though it wouldn't have gone on to it's because next month they move on to XYZ. I mean, case in point would be Finn Balor winning the Universal title. They could have definitely called an audible on the night and made him not win. I mean, you could tell it was. Maybe they couldn't tell how bad it was, but it was a pretty likely kind of scenario that he'd be away for a bit. So they could have changed it on the night. They decided not to. And maybe it'll be the same here, that even though he's not going to he's going to go away, it could fizzle out. By the time people come back, like, say when people come back as a heel when they were a face, or they come, usually the other way around. People wear a heel, they go away, they come back as a face because, absence makes the heart grow fonder and all that stuff. I think that's kind of what they do. Is like it's a reset, and what happened when they left didn't matter. So the fact they're a heel doesn't matter anymore. Like, it's been time and you've got over it. So it kind of gets erased. So Cody winning won't matter. He could lose and come back, and it'd be the same thing with the return. No one's going to go, oh, well, loser's back, is he? Ain't gonna work like that. They're still going to be able to have him back. Or, this is if he does take some time off. We don't know how bad this is or anything like that. But I still think it's crazy that he's working it tonight. But again, we don't know how bad it is. So it's going to be like we said earlier. It could play into his character. They can use it in that way. It seems like they are doing that. Be interesting how they kind of present it on the show as well. So I could have gone Seth. I feel I kind of get your thinking there. I'm
going Cody, but I think after.
Oh, I thought you were going Seth.
No, I'm going Cody, but I think after the show, after the match finishes, Seth's just going to batter him with chairs.
Okay.
So then he sends him on.
That's
then he put him on the shelf because he loses. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, but then you got to do the return, and then he faces Seth again. As much as I keep saying these guys work well together, we don't want to make it too stale. I know it'd be like a break and then come back, but knowing WWE, go into 2-3 matches again.
If Seth wins, though, then we've got to do that redemption of, I wasn't fully fit. So you still get that. So whatever happens, there's going to be another match after this because of this.
Which probably wasn't the plan, Cody. But we said it earlier, there's no main title kicking around for them to kind of fight for because, it's been hogged up by one man at the top. And we don't know what's going on there. He's not on this show. We don't know what's going on with, whether or not they are kind of going to merge the belts properly or what. It's just a very strange time in WWE. But
Did you see? So there was a thing where they had an idea they wanted to merge them, but apparently because having 2 championships instead of 1 looks more prestigious, they're not sure if they want to merge it because Roman holding 2 looks more powerful than him just holding 1. It looks better, which is why they don't want to merge them. So I don't know if they're going to or not.
It will be. it seems there's so much in the air, though. You know, like we say, like the rumors of the brand split ending, the rumors of titles merging and kind of titles not being defended because they've been, you know, stripped off of someone as well. You know, of course, the Sasha and the Naomi one, which he's never had a chance to talk about. But I know the guys did it on the predictions. If you want to hear a little bit of their kind of thoughts on that in depth, definitely check that out. But either way, interesting show. I'm kind of disappointed by the fact that we are going to get something different now with the Cody match. I don't want to be like expecting, be like, oh, it's not as good as it would have been. It's a shame, you know. I think it's commendable that he's even performing. So, but you know, realistically, it probably will be a different match to what they originally had planned. Limitations in its way and stuff like that. So it's a tough one. But even still, I do think this is a potentially very good card. Mentioned earlier on, Theory and Mustafa Ali, you know, they could definitely steal the show. The women's match could steal the show. The Judgment Day one has a lot of potential for something exciting to happen, you know. So, yeah.
All right, sorry. I was just looking through news now to see if there's any updates. And apparently MVP dropped a diss track on Bobby Lashley for their match at Hell in a Cell.
Wow. Okay. I feel like we should have live streamed us reacting to it, but I don't want to get caught up in any copyright issues just yet. So, right. Okay. Well, I'll be getting off this stream and watching that in just a moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, I do think this card could kind of still be a really good one. Yeah. Anything else you want to mention before we get out of here, Rob?
I mentioned I've gone gym recently.
No, not once. But thanks for letting us know. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining us on the Build Up Show again. If this is your first time here, thank you very much. Basically, well, you know what we do now. We've been doing it for about an hour. But what we do is we basically try and get yourselves hyped for the show, ourselves as well hyped for the show. And hopefully that's worked. And it's always good to debate these things and kind of go predictions. And again, with these breaking news stories, it's always fun as well. Little bit of time if you're watching live now. There's a little bit of time obviously before the show starts, about 2 more hours. So definitely check out more of our content as well before you watch the main event. Of course, we've got Dan and Lucas's predictions. We've kind of gone through what they were, but if you want to see their reasoning and stuff like that, they did about an hour of a podcast a few days ago as well. Now, change to our regularly scheduled programming. Unfortunately, we don't know how we are going to work out with this review. We usually do a recap and review the next day after the event. Of course, if you've been here before, you know that's how it works here. Again, scheduling issues at the moment. So we're going to see if we can piece something together. Hopefully we will be able to, but it's going to be a little bit tough. Just the 4 of us kind of trying to figure something out over the next day or so. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled because hopefully we'll have something Hell in a Cell related. But if not, hope you enjoy the show. It should be a good one. We've got loads more content on the channel as well, and we'll be back very, very soon, either for Hell in a Cell or talking about the next events as well. And of course, we've got all of our interviews to check out on this channel as well. So please subscribe and check out more of our Rebellious Noise content as well through the rest of the Rebellious Noise channels. But yeah, it's been really good to have you on with me again today, Rob. For everyone that's watched on demand and live, we do really, really appreciate it. Right. Cool. Well, with that being said, let's just go and enjoy the show, mate.
See you later.
See you later.
Welcome to the Rebellious Noise Pro Wrestling channel. On this channel, we bring you some great content from inside and outside of the squared circle. We will go through and offer some in-depth analysis of the biggest events of the year, as well as bringing you exclusive interviews with some of the industry's biggest names. There will also be live show reviews, in-depth features, and podcasts. So make sure you give that subscribe button a slam so you don't miss any of the action.